Hi there everyone, hi and welcome, how you doing? I'd like another Katsi. Class news, I talked with the professor, teacher, dude in my area. I was talking really well, I'm really happy for you liking. When do you sleep? I just woke up. I have a dynamic sleep schedule that I've been slowly but surely trying to shift to a daylight time sort of sleep schedule, where I am awake during the day and sleep at night. But the progress is slow, it takes time. Anyway, I made so much food yesterday. Like 1.5 kilos of chicken, 2 bags of rice, and a full bag of veggies. I don't know what came. Well, hunger. That's what happened to me. I was hungry. I was feeling a bit peckish, you see. How did you all like the video? It was very good. Well, I'm glad you like it, Cassie. The video was cool as shit. Well, thank you. I did think it was quite good. Oh yeah, wait, we need to do the thing. It's time to do the thing, everyone. Well, I don't think anyone is as excited for it as I am, but it's part of my routine. No, it's part of my routine, and as such, I'm excited for it. You all can piss off. I didn't mean it. There we go. Every elementary particle explained. Save to playlist. First of all, from X to Y, because that's part. Remco's part was my favorite. I heard from a lot of people that a lot of people liked Remco's cameo or appearance. And then I'm from work and plan on watching it again with more attention. Well, I hope that I explained it properly. To be fair, comically enough, this is particle physics explained from like a really quantum field theory point of view. So this is, I still oversimplified some things, like the Higgs boson, for example, because of course you can't not oversimplify the Higgs boson, that's the rule. But as far as it goes, it's all pretty accurate. Now, playlists from X to Y. Shut up, let's make it. And in this case, I would like it to be this way. So first we have particle physics to quantum field theory, then quantum field theory to quantum mechanics, then quantum mechanics to the electron, electron to chemistry, and yeah, that's the deal. I'm so comfortable. Someday I'm gonna sleep and never wake up again. Good for you. You know what? Who am I to stop you? Good for you. But yeah, the thing that I need to do is, in playlists, I should have a playlist called Make It Top 16. Don't mind the work playlist, that's unrelated. Make It Top 16. And in this case, we need to figure out where we're going to place the video. Every elementary part. Okay, first of all, even more complex numbers, you can piss off. You're definitely below. This I feel like is better than this, better. Is it better than skip? Ah, that's a bit rough, but it's definitely better than model. Why is the model of the quantum field so high up? Why is this so high up? This shouldn't be so high up. This should be like right here. Yeah. Well, no, right here. Yes. Ah, damn it, YouTube. I swear, sometimes are absolutely ridiculous. You need to like go to the very top sometimes. That's how you want me to do it? There we go. Skip, high was mistake. I think it could be a very comfortable 6th place. I like this video. Make it bottom 16 when. I don't want that one because I don't want to bring any attention to those videos. I'm adding that to best comments. Actually, I should have specified. That's in relation to the live stream. Hold on. There we go. This makes much more sense in context. There we go. Yeah. It never ends. The charity checkup shall carry on until I die, and then some. Only naive fools think that death would release me from this duty. All right. But by the way, so yeah, there we go. I did the thing. I have a question though. Well, not a question. It's just something that we need to ponder this live stream. Can you not die before I die? Gotcha. Fine. I'm gonna dance on your grave. Out of respect, of course. Now, here's the question. What are we supposed to do now? What video are we supposed to work on? Feynman diagrams. Feynman diagrams video I would need to do with Remco. And we're already gonna do another video of Remco. About the video ideas. Well, fortunately, believe it or not, I have a list. Listen, coming up with an idea for a video is the easiest part. The most difficult part is figuring out what to actually do. This is a pretty old file. Yeah, it's a really old one. I started this file at my old place, if I remember correctly. But there we go. There is... Oh, jeez. Yeah, the ones in red are the ones I finished. And this is not a complete list by any means. I have a lot more in case we run out. But yeah. From audition to late. Oh, look at that! Oh, General Person would have been so stoked. This was genuinely supposed to be the next video, but well. Hi, the Sebas. How you doing? Now, we have, oh, the simulations one was fun. Groups with mapping, I don't like mathematics. How do viruses work? That would be too. Nuclear stuff, funny enough, on the Patreon poll, on Patreon for the videos, every single option is tied except for organic chemistry. Nuclear physics, states of matter, and electricity are all tied. But no one voted for organic chemistry, not even one person. Which I consider to be hilarious. Oh, we also finished this one. Yeah, I didn't really feel, and I think this one, we didn't really mention Schrodinger's. Well, I did mention it and explain it. Do you want the real answer or the one that's socially acceptable? Nothing. Don't let society tell you who to be. Why does E show up everywhere in the in-depth analysis? I already kind of did that, except I just called it... I don't remember what I called it. It was the constants video. And I explained it was pretty good. I explained the constants in a pretty reasonable way, I remember. There we go, the secret behind constants. You have the 1, which is, well, a 1. You have E, which is an exponential. You have pi, that's a circle. And then the first one is the Euler's constant, right? That's the first one. I don't remember what character that one uses. Probably gamma or something silly like that. Trolling people with math was a fun one, but no. In different fields of science. Ooh, that would be fun. Battery in a generator. I already did a battery video. This shows measure models after well. It's the exponentials. That fun fact. That's what E stands for. E stands for exponentials. Little known. Don't look it up. Don't look it up. Whatever you do, don't look it up. Just trust me on this. Hi, the ninja. I've started my journey with transverse fluid, and I've effectively been taken undoing of one of the university's banned fluids. That's nice. I'm glad to hear that. Electrical components, no. How electricity works, that would be the next video. Well, not quite, because this one goes from yeah, no. The next one will be electrons to transistors, and then will be transistors to computers. Maybe. Life of a star. That would be a bit odd, wouldn't it? I haven't made many astral videos. Journey of a packet would be fun. Spontaneous rotation. Oh shit, I haven't done that either, have I? Why the batteries powered? Just once again, I already made that video. That's repeat. Ranking all elements from the periodic table. That would be funny. Oh, that would be funny. I went to my friend's house, learned he smokes so much his house smells like Mary Jane, and got on the car accident so bad I'm concussed. What? Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry to hear that, Sebas. Wait, are you in the hospital right now? Why aren't you in the hospital? You got in a car accident. Oh, were you in the hospital and you got out? Wait, I completely omitted that possibility. Yes. Talsga, you rating Bromin as #1 is offensive. That's just called rage baiting, and I don't appreciate that. I live in America, I have no healthcare, no housing, what do you expect? Oh, that is fucked. Okay. Shit. I'm so sorry to hear that, Sebas. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I warned you. Yeah, I hear the warning. Hey, I don't regret asking. I refuse to accept the idea we need to be socially acceptable all the time for the sake of that we need to make our lives worse for the sake of being socially acceptable. Because that is just a dumb societal standard. Doing things that are socially acceptable for the sake of not making others awkward. So by, for example, using kid speech and brain rot. Listen, kid speech and brain rot, it pisses me off. If you went through something traumatic and you want me to be there for you, I'm here for you. I'm fine with that. Just don't call me bro and don't say sigma in a weird way. That's where I draw the line. I'm really sorry to hear that, and I hope you'll be feeling better, Sebas. You did also remind me that I should get health insurance because I don't have health insurance. Shit. I need to get some health insurance. If the video performs well, then I'm gonna get some health insurance. Hold on, actually, I now need to check. What is quantum mechanics for? Well, Talsga, I have a series on quantum mechanics, and these were all candidates for the 4th episode of quantum mechanics, which was either the Schrodinger's equation or the wave function, or well, this one also was supposed to be Schrodinger's, if I remember correctly. Hold on. We'll find you. That is. Speaking of viewers, the bacterial volcanism just make madness. Hold on, what was I doing? I am so lost and dizzy. Playlist, right. Quantum mechanics, as you can see. I've already made the 4th episode, apparently. There we go. And the 4th episode is just turning a function. So yeah, so basically the wave function explains vector, the bracket notation and such.
Right.
Hi, Katsi.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm trying, well, you know, I'm trying to pick a video to make.
How about you do a periodic table smash or pass?
Smash or Pass would be fun. I mean, all elements ranked would be pretty hilarious. Relativity video as well. No, but I have a problem with relativity. Also, I'm making too many physics videos as of late, aren't I?
Relativity, that's relatively boring.
How to build a bomb would be a fun video to make.
It would be your last video to make.
No, because I could just call it how to build a bomb, and then I would just talk about what makes something reactive, and energies and such. And then
Would you
at
get
the end,
demonetized and make $0?
well, I wouldn't actually show people how to build a bomb. I would just talk about reactive materials and reactivity and such. I could also end the video by making a clock, like an electric clock with a timer. That would be pretty funny, but
Sure.
I don't. How do bombs work would be. I could get demonetized with that, actually. Flutes can be trans, they're called a clarinet. That's so right. That is so right. Okay, everyone. What? Because here's the thing. Technically, I should just be working on the next video. Next video in the series. But the problem with that is that well, the Patreon vote is undecisive yet. So we need to pick something else, another topic. Actually, no, we have done the favorite, like a cup of chemistry ones, yeah. How to build a bomb would be funny.
It would be very funny. Also be a very bad idea.
I mean, it would be risky, certainly, but they call me Osama the way I've been locked in.
I don't know, man.
Okay, hold on. Let's look for inspiration, library text. Because the 2 videos I need to make, the first one I need to wait for a Patreon vote, the second I need to wait for Remco. Actually, the 3rd video I need to do it off stream, the mask one. So. I'm just gonna go into chemistry and then look up react.
What do you need for the mask video?
No, I need to finish it. That's what I need to do. Make the animations, record the recordings, and such and such.
Well.
In fact, my immersion breath work because now I'm need to blow more air into a fluid, which is something I normally did not do on the recorder. I get what you mean. I used to play the trumpet, and it does get surprisingly extreme. Funny enough, you wouldn't think it, but like the most annoying bit of playing the trumpet is your lips. It's actually not actually the air. I've never had trouble with air.
I feel like you shouldn't have trouble with lips.
What's that even supposed to mean? Shouldn't have trouble with lips.
What do you think it's supposed to mean?
Well, I don't know, that's what I'm fucking asking! That's the... you... fucking cut. Alright. Okay.
Cassie makes joke.
For clarence,
You
also
know?
the lips. Breaks easily. Oh, that... I cannot pronounce that word. That is one posh word.
What the hell is that word?
Question to make it rename the basic channel
That's
to
some
alkaline channel.
French. That's a French propaganda. That's not a real
If
word.
anything, I should rename it to acidic channel.
Acidic?
It's awful.
Hmm.
Hold on. I guess we could work on the mask. I know it's spell I think it's French. Yeah, that's why it sounds so posh. That's the problem. All the posh words are French. That's the #1 export.
Words, okay.
I'm setting everything up. Ah, shit. Of course. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back.
iPad? Mm-hmm.
I always sleep with an open window, simply because, well, I like fresh air. But man, does it get annoying in the winter, especially since I don't use heating.
Oh. Yeah. I don't think you can do it in the winter, can you?
I do that in the winter. Don't tell me what I can or cannot do.
Well. Huh? Are you okay, Matthew?
Yeah. I almost always slept that way. I'm just hot.
Are you sure?
There we go. On the crucial table.
Hmm.
I probably should get myself some health insurance. Oh, hi, the theft!
Yeah.
Just render an animation that will heat up. That's why I don't have a problem
Heat up
with it in my
and
main room. In my main room, I just keep the windows closed, and you know, all the equipment I have just heats me up really nice. It's in my bedroom, that's the issue. See, that's the problem. Back when I had back when I was living in the studio apartment, that was the life.
Mm-hmm.
You know how easy it is? Right now, if I forget my charger in my bedroom, right, and I need to get my charger to charge up the batteries for the camera, I need to go to my bedroom and to pick it up. Back then, it was the same room. It's so easy. Okay, so, oh, I remember what I had to do with this. Oh, that's going to be an annoying step. We need to basically uninstall. We need to basically delete everything from the SD card on this Raspberry Pi Zero, and I want to reinstall the entire operating system and start from scratch because the software is a bit of a mess at this point. Yup.
Well, you're a bit of a mess too.
I lived in the studio for a few years. I lived in the studio for the not past. Oh my goodness, it's been holy shit! It's been 4 months since I've moved again.
Time flies.
Time flies like crazy. Okay. The mask looks great. Thank you, Talska. Thank you, I appreciate it. It is a lot. I won't lie. It is, in fact, a lot right now.
Mm-hmm.
But
Ooh.
hopefully.
Oh yeah, that looks amazing.
Okay. Everyone, let me have a think. What am I to do? What am I to do? Whiskey Gen Alpha Young Gen Z version of Beanie Babies. Why do we need new Beanie Babies? Why are Beanie Babies making a comeback? What is happening to modern society? Okay, doesn't matter. Now, first things first. Do I need to... You see, when I was working on the video the past couple of days, it was convenient. I had the script, all I had to do was just render animations, make animations, keep going, keep going. But right now I'm in the planning stage. And the planning stage is annoying, because I need to actually plan it, I need to think, I need to use my brain. The best course of action in this case would be for me to just delete the entire operating system of this Raspberry Pi Zero, and then... Yeah, okay, that's what we'll do. First, I'm going to start it up, so we can salvage whatever we can. Then we're going to... There we go. Then we're going to completely wipe the operating system, reinstall it, and then do the entire setup again from scratch, this time noting down every single step we take along the way and the reason for that step. N8N? What's N8N? What about philosophy aside, history aside the video? I would love video focusing on development of our current model of, with focus on past models, how we justify newer models. Casso, I'll be brutally honest with you. I don't know much about the history of science, because I don't find it interesting. I find it extremely boring. The greatest models that we have created, the greater the model that we have created right now, the less it is tied to past models. That's the basic idea. So if you want to focus on the most interesting developments in science, then they don't follow a very natural and smooth progression from the past models. So jump from Newtonian mechanics to relativistic mechanics is a pretty big gap. You still have gravity in both of them, but that's kind of the tying node. Most of the time, it's about completely remaking the model rather than adding onto it. It's an open code agentic AI framework, and agentic works together. It might help with the mask. That's what I'm researching right now. It might, in fact. The Pi 5 on the side will be there for it. So far, I'm having trouble even just implementing Vosk. Oh wait, hold on. It started. Yeah, I should. Well, no, I implemented Vosk fine. The problem I'm having is that the Raspberry can't handle the Vosk and microphone at the same time. Codes. Okay. Give me a second. Code is not cooperating. You may need to upgrade to Orange Pie or Banana Pie. What is Orange Pie? What? Orange. There are other fruits. I was not aware of this. Okay. What's the difference between... Oh yeah, you always need to connect twice. More RAM and processing. They're just... I was not aware that even existed. No, but I imagine the price is going to also be a fair bit larger. Oh, that is tiny. 32. Oh yes, that is. Wow. That is a lot of number for something this small. Oh, what is banana pie then? Okay, that's much bigger. Small at all. Well, by much the price would be higher with this, so unfortunately I need to stick to what I have. I already implemented the hide detector. I already added in the Pi 5 in a way so that it isn't actually permanently connected to anything, and I'm gonna try my best to keep it that way, because I'm gonna reuse it between my projects. Okay, hold on, terminal. Let's see first what we've got. If there is something you want to salvage from the Raspberry Pi Zero, now would be the time. Although for some reason it is not starting, which is a brilliant sign. Oh, that's just lovely. There we go. Wait, can I do code?
I don't think you can code.
Like that doesn't make much sense. I don't know if I like it or if I don't like it, because I just it just hit me. I've been doing it for a really long time, and it just hit me how little sense it makes for me to be able to do code in this case. Because I basically have like the SSH add-on in VS Code.
Oh.
And I just did the code dot command on the Raspberry Pi Zero, and it opened code on my PC in that folder, and it just hit me that there must be some kind of like a macro for the code to actually take over. I don't know. Once again, it takes.
To me, that's all wizardry.
It always is. I don't understand networking. I eventually will need to understand it, and eventually I will need to get into it. But I've been telling that myself for years, so
it gets complicated.
it does.
Right now, I'm dealing with a whole bunch of Docker instances of different servers talking to each other. It's very interesting.
Ah, that's curious. It's not letting me connect this time. It's letting me connect just a second ago.
I did come across something you might find interesting. Have you heard of MCP servers?
MCP, I have not.
Model Context Protocol. So it's an API translator. So you spool up like an MCP server, and it's meant to handle API connections, but in a way that a large language model can talk to.
I don't think I quite understand the purpose there.
So like if you ever use an AI and it like runs code or something, it's probably calling on an API to like you could have a large language model have access to your Gmail account.
Yeah.
And instead of programming every little bit in code, you can spool up an MCP server, which gives the large language model an easy way to interact with it.
So, wait, is it like a...
It's a man in the middle for APIs. So, like one good example, you've used Obsidian before. There's what is I can't even remember. Claude AI. It's a desktop app. You can download an MCP server for Obsidian, and it literally links to the Claude desktop app, so your local model can interact with your Obsidian databases. Inherently, it just understands what it can do and what it can't.
Oh, so it's like an AI side API. It's so it's like a second API, or actually
it's a second API. Yeah, it's an API in between the API and the large language model. Yeah, it's an API.
Yeah, it's APA. It's AI. No wait, AI application protocol. No wait.
AAPI. Yeah, you're right.
AAPI. Oh, that makes sense then. That does make sense. I
But
could.
anyways, I thought you'd get a kick out of it because
I mean, the one thing I do. Not gonna lie, when I realized that Vosk doesn't work on the Pi Zero, I was a bit upset because, well, that means that I cannot like run both the microphone and the Vosk at the same time, which is kind of a big deal. But then it got me thinking that what I can do is I can just leave the Raspberry Pi Zero, the weak one, on the side, into the mask permanently, and then that Zero does have a USB connection. So what I thought is I can just leave that as a sort of like hardware firmware sort of thing to control the audio amplifier, control the LEDs, control the microphone, and then I can just plug into it whatever device I want. Which means that my mask will just be a USB device, and then the Fixit, the AI, will be just external. Which means that if I upgrade, I can have the Raspberry Pi 5 be my Fixit, and then as I keep making masks and possibly even other things, I can just plug in the Raspberry Pi 5 to these devices, and then I can just like take out AI out of my mask and put it into my, I don't know, coffee machine, for example, if I'm feeling like it. If it's not been behaving properly, I can just be delegated to coffee machine duty. I came up with, but yeah, right now I need to, because I've kind of made an absolute mess of my entire. I kind of made an entire mess of my entire Raspberry Pi Zero. So what I'm trying to right now is I'm trying to salvage every bit of code I've left here that I think is worth salvaging, and I'm just gonna reinstall the entire operating system and start from scratch because it's just a bit much. Not too much would be lost because I mean all of these, like for example basic speech recognition, well this is just like more customized version of the software you gave me. I just customized it a bit. Mask one doesn't really have anything as far as I'm yep. The MKC is empty. Sound test, yeah, doesn't. The SPI. Yeah, all of these I think.
yeah, what sucks about like every time I've tried to implement like a Raspberry Pi Zero, I've done the same thing where there's so many dependencies that you need and that things won't run in tandem. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, start from scratch. I don't use like an envelope or anything like you probably should, but I'm like, oh, okay.
I do have to say that there is definitely a more proper way to develop this sort of thing. It's the same principle as Docker, right? Like Docker isn't a necessity in most applications. It's just used because it's much better to develop things with Docker. That's kind of
Yeah.
And I imagine if I learned Docker, actually, that sounds like something Docker could actually do. Like set up a machine of a Raspberry Pi Zero and then try to.
Yeah.
But no, I have
Yeah, that's what I'm using.
hardware thing. I'm a caveman. I like it works. It's there. It's physical. I can see it. I can see the lights blinking.
It's much better because like I'm running into issues now where I'm trying to spool up two different things in Docker and have them communicate with one another, which it's doable. I've gotten it to work. Like some are being ran on my local machine, some are in like an image. But yeah,
Okay.
it's complex.
I've been trying to set up. There is like a method USB device, or USB gadget, I think is what it was called, where basically you can set up your machine as, instead of being a USB master, you can set it up to be a USB slave, which is what I'm attempting to do in this case. But for some reason, the entire time I've been trying it, it wasn't really working. It wasn't clicking with the Pi 5. All right, what do I want to salvage?
Well, there's also the issue, right? Because the Raspberry Pi Zeros, the micro USB to USB-A female is actually an OTG cable. And USB OTG cables actually have two wires soldered together to designate that they're OTG cables. So if you plug in, it's possible that that could be a physical layer stopping that, by the way, just to mention.
Oh, that's not the
right?
That's not great.
Yeah,
I mean-
because you would have to just get a USB micro to USB A female proper, not an OTG one, because OTGs have two little pins soldered together that designate to the device that, hey, this is an input. as opposed to an output.
Worst case scenario, I could always connect the UART pins, but I want to avoid that because then I would need to. Well, then that would be awkward. I would need to create like my own kind of connector. So it isn't.
Yeah.
It isn't a game ender, but that would be certainly unfortunate. Let me actually look it up first before I'm already getting distracted.
Sorry.
Raspberry. No. This is good. This is a good thing to check. Raspberry Pi Zero USB gadget. I do believe if I just look up this, turning last device type is a USB peripheral. Raspberry Pi Zero into a USB gadget. Yes. There's this whole. By the way, the Adafruit tutorials, they are phenomenal. I never look for them, but they are kind of like the W3 schools, or the other one. I don't remember what the other one is. Or like if you look up something, for example, I don't know, Python scrape a website, then you're always gonna get W3 schools and Geeks for Geeks as your top responses. Oh, W3 schools isn't even here. And I just love that Adafruit tutorial is the same thing but for hardware. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It's great. That's a local.
Yeah, they are phenomenal. I just wish they didn't switch to micro or circuit Python.
MicroPython, I have had
Because they switched to circuit Python because
Yeah, I have run into
they were
this
on
issue.
MicroPython, but they're like, no.
I've run into this issue a couple of times when I was trying to find some code for what I was looking for, and then I got it in MicroPython on Stack Overflow, and then the next comment was, no, you can't actually do it on Pi Zero, you need Circuit Python. This code won't work. Which was quite an upset a couple of times. When Pi Zero came out,
Yeah.
one downside of the low cost design was swapping the standard USB A port for a micro B port. Now you have to use an OTG cable instead of just plugging in the device. Isn't terribly difficult, but it should have some Raspberry Pi experience, particularly what you want to bend a copy. Yeah, micro USB cable. Wait, macro USB cable? No, micro USB, that's correct, never mind.
Yeah, not many.
Or somehow be able to connect console cable to your Pi Zero. The problem is that in this case they are doing it a bit differently, where they are like connecting to the Pi Zero with pins in order to have access to it. But I don't understand why they wouldn't just connect via SSH. It baffles me and it worries me, because SSH seems like such a much more obvious way to do it. Because the whole issue is obviously if you set up USB as a gadget, then you cannot connect to the USB as your console. Which in my case isn't a problem because I've never not once used the USB as a console. But it could be a pickle if it turns out that I don't know. It's not gonna work. It's all magic and smoke on the inside. So
Yeah. Well, they also, sell hardware, so maybe they want to sell their TTL.
oh, that I hope that's it. I really hope that's it.
But yeah, you should always be able to SSH as long as there's network connection. But when you reflash, if the firmware is what changes the USB, yeah, you wouldn't be able to plug in a keyboard to it to even.
Yeah, but once again, in my case, not an issue because of SSH. So that it makes sense. That's why I'm confused about why
SSH through through what?
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But so when you burn the image, you're gonna designate the
Yes. Yeah.
okay.
As you burn, you can hardcode into it the SSID and password. Which
Got it.
by the way, I remember
That
I
part I
had some problems with it when I was doing it. I remember it took me a couple of tries to actually get that right. And considering how I haven't done it for a month now, that bodes well for me. Last time, in order to actually get it to work, it was a hilarious ordeal because I had to get like all of these adapters to my Raspberry Pi Zero to change it from the absolutely idiotic connections that it has. Who uses, was it a micro HDMI? Mini HDMI. It was the one that's useless. Who uses that? That's the first time I've seen it used like that.
Yeah.
And then USB, you just USB-Cs. The modern Raspberry Pi 5 has USB-C. And I remember I just a whole ordeal where I had to like plug in my keyboard, then type something in, then when something, because I had to do the graphical user interface to make sure that I was doing it correctly. And so then when something will pop up, I'll have to unplug my keyboard, plug in my mouse, move it around, and again it worked.
That's why I have that mini monitor. It's specifically for the Raspberry Pi Zero. It just looks ridiculous.
I could use that sort of thing by now. I'm going.
They're handy. That the same they actually are for my cameras. I have the monitors, and those are pretty nice to have around, especially when you're debugging anything with HDMI or computers, because they're just 7-inch monitors that are battery powered.
Oh, this is a curious. I don't remember downloading this script. That's really curious. Whatever. I'm leaving. I should leave most of these behind. I'm gonna open the LED. I'm gonna save the LEDs because that's convenient. LEDs by. Also, a surprising amount of code is written in C and not. It's genuinely reaching a point where sometimes there are certain tasks that are more difficult to do with Python than C. Because with C you just have access to the kernel in Linux, and
everything.
Right as I switched to the more sensible option of using Python for this sort of thing. Okay. I think that's
a fun file name.
Yeah, I was going through something right at the time. It was a long night. I think that's all I'm willing to salvage. I don't think there is anything else I really. Well, my beloved Zero, I do believe it is time. Sudo shutdown. Is that even a command? I know that reboot is a command. Shutdowns are scheduled for. Okay, that was an hour ago. A different time zone, okay. No point, I can just unplug. Now, all I need to do is just take out the take out the SD card and burn into it. New image. I really like how the mask looks, by the way, right now. So
It does look awesome.
it's so technical. Also, I got the camera to work on the side. That's nice. This right here in the corner, there's a functioning camera. Which is precisely why I'm so determined to get this to work. Because if I do manage to get this to work, I will be able to stream from my mask.
So POV view.
I do actually plan on doing it. The second I finish the mask, one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm gonna set up a stream, and then I'm just gonna sit in front of my mirror or just put on the mask and like do a half an hour long stream of just, I don't know, me talking to myself. I'll think of something. I won't be able to see chat, so it'll be quite awkward, but it will be something.
Well, you can see through the visor, can't you?
Oh yeah, I can, but you know, if I look at chat, I would need to bring up chat on my phone, and I would just need to. I mean, I could do that, I suppose. I could just bring up chat on my phone and just look at it. It would be. I'm
You
interested.
put VR goggles over it.
I was thinking I mean, obviously, way further down the line, but I could get like a micro display and put it behind the visor. And even better, I could just straight up connect it to the Raspberry Pi 5. I wouldn't need to do anything wacky, because these micro displays are on. Should connect to micro HDMI.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a new version of the installer. Now, what kind of software would I like for this? I imagine iOS, although there are other options.
Wow, micro displays are expensive.
They really are. Yeah. So far, if I added a micro display to this mask, it would more than double its value.
Holy crap. $200 for a 1920 by 960 0.5-inch OLED.
Yeah. But it is quite interesting how they do it. it makes sense. Basically, the issue being, if I remember correctly from researching it, is that they have to be off a longer amount of time to trick our eyes into compensating for the image, but not that the whole image has to be brighter, which means not only you need to create a really tiny display with an absurdly high resolution, you also need to crank up the brightness. Okay. Now let's make sure that I actually choose the correct device. And I need to make sure that I choose the correct storage. Okay, this one. It's so funny. I don't know why, but Windows.
I think it's a terabyte one.
Windows recognizes. It's so funny. Windows recognizes my D drive as a just detachable device. And when I was working on the video, at one point, I just plugged in the card reader to just download something of my camera. And then when I, on the taskbar, click the unmount, I misclicked and actually unmounted my D drive. Just removed it, which is hilarious because my D drive has a whole bunch of applications on it, has a whole bunch of, well, not quite system files, but pretty close. So I like that it's just an option. If I ever misclick, I can override my just terabyte full drive. Okay, what do I want? It was Raspberry Pi. No, there's still. I mean. I'd like to know my options, just for the sake of curiosity. I don't really want the desktop environment.
Yeah. Just like the command line.
Oh, home automation. If I was more specific, why is Kali Linux there? If I was more specialized in this, I could just.
That's how you automate, home stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if I was
Kali
better,
Linux.
if I was Kali Linux, exactly.
Yeah.
Or Kali Linux. Always a part of everyone's joke. But I mean, to be fair, it's a bit deserved. If I was a bit better at what I do, I wouldn't have to download just a typical Raspberry Pi OS Lite. And I could get something more specialized. Apply the OS customization settings. I just reinstalled this, so I don't know if actually I have the same settings. I appear to have the same settings, so I'm just going to... I'm just gonna save it. I'm just gonna say yes. All existing data will be erased. Yup. That's fun! Weeks of my life, weeks of progress, and click and boom and erased in the blink of an eye. Well, you always need to empty something to do something, so...
Nice video, by the way.
Well, thank you, I appreciate it. I did like that video. I do believe it was an interesting... I really like the quantum field theory visualization of actually showing the quantum fields. And based on that, I'm going to do another couple of videos showcasing particles that way.
I voted too.
What would you vote for?
I can't remember. I think it was the materials or something classic. I forgot. It was only like
There was
it
organic
wasn't
chemistry.
the most popular one.
There was organic chemistry that no one voted for, which I consider hilarious. There is electricity, nuclear physics, and states of matter.
States of matter. That's what I did.
Yeah, the 4 ways I imagine. Oh, also soon I'm going to start. Soon I want to start doing a new format of videos, which I think will be interesting. I'm gonna test it out with Remco over next week, and then I'm gonna do it with Flame. Eventually, I could even do it with you. It'd be really fun. Where basically the idea would be that I would just take some kind of expert, for example, Remco Flame, and we would just do a live stream talking about a specific topic. And then after the stream, I would just take it, I would edit it, and every single time we're talking about something, I would just make animations visualizing what we were talking about.
That'd be cool.
That would be really neat because then I could just have a lot more videos with guests and I could just make the videos without actually promising to make the videos and then not making them in the end.
Yeah, it's like a podcast.
Yes, but still, I would spend just days of my life working on the animations.
Yeah. Editing podcast style is pretty good if the content is pretty interesting. And there's a ton of streams that you've done that I think have good content in them.
It pains me that I just do a live stream with one person watching, like right now, and then just
What
let
do you
it
mean?
fall into the void of the internet, never to be seen by anyone ever again. It is
Yeah.
painful a bit. I try hard, you know?
You need interns to like chop it up.
I
and
do. I really do. But no one
You should-
even wants to be an unpaid intern nowadays. No
There
benefits.
has to be somebody eventually that would want to just edit the live streams and get the interesting
I
bits
don't.
out.
I don't like exploiting people. It feels bad whenever. I just. Eventually, I'll have to start doing these sort of things. I know. I recently decided I'm gonna start accepting sponsorships. So, but I suppose I am slowly turning into a typical YouTuber, where I will be
Yeah.
fine with just using my audience.
Well, I think it's a proper organism. I think.
where
'cause,
I'm
like-
the parasite.
No, because like
I
what
know.
what would you call someone that's a painter? You know, because if you paint, you're gonna sell your paintings for like some people do like $10,000, but they might only make one painting every couple of months, but they're able to make a living and people appreciate their work enough. Like, I don't know. There are certain professions that like actors get paid a crap ton. How many assistants do actors have? And all they're doing is performing in movies.
I mean, yeah.
And they
Eventually,
literally
eventually, I would like to set up into more of an ecosystem where I would just have also people around me who also work with me like this. It's just that
Yeah.
I feel like I need to grow a bit more for that to happen. I mean, if I start getting sponsorships, I already had a bunch of different offers, but I had to unfortunately decline them because to me they seemed extremely predatory. That could be just my general paranoia, but I don't want to say too much. But in one of them,
no
there was like a big company that there's a whole bunch of them. The companies that well, I'm certain you are familiar with this whole thing. Companies that that connect YouTubers with companies that would sponsor them. I'm certain you are familiar with that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
exactly.
a little bit.
Exactly. And but there was like one that was really big, and they offered me some money for a sponsorship. Not a big amount, but hey, it's a start. But then I looked into the terms and agreement, and in there it said that like, if I signed the deal, I couldn't actually be represented. I couldn't have any other sponsorships with the companies they were representing for 12 months, unless it was with them. And that was I don't like that idea, so I had to reject the deal because
Yeah.
12 months is a lot of time, and I am aware that might not be the same thing, and I'm aware that this could be just my paranoia, but I just like in the back of my mind there is this idea of the predatory music labels, for example. Just
Yeah.
like big companies trying to get a quick sign that will lock you in the deal forever. And I'm just scared of that. That's why I prefer the smaller companies like that.
I agree. I don't think that you're being irrational at all. I think it's, you know, when you sign those documents, it's difficult.
Yeah, I hope I'm not. But yeah, eventually I'm gonna turn it into hopefully bigger ecosystem will be better. Why is this just diagnosed with Copilot? What's up? Let me see. Can you actually diagnose something? Oh, that is actually quite convenient. Diagnose my last connection error. Huh. I haven't used the Copilot in the VS Code yet. This is my first time ever using it. We can actually perform that. That's a big plus. Let's see. I have a big issue with using AIs to solve problems, which is that they always, well, at least in my case, whenever I use them, I know that sometimes they're useful. They're useful for boilerplate, that's for sure. But when it comes
Yeah.
to solving problems, they always give such blunt answers. Stuff like, well, basically the equivalent of, have you tried turning it off and on again?
Yeah.
Which,
Well, that's where. Yeah. I give my AIs lots of context. Like, if I'm going to ask AI a problem, I'm going to troubleshoot enough information that I believe the solution could be found in the troubleshooting data. And then I'm like, here you go, AI. Here's everything. This is blinking, but this is not. When I do this, it works. When I do this, it doesn't work. And it sometimes does X, Y, Z. And it usually gets the answer right if I give all that context. But if I just say, this is the problem, yeah, right. It doesn't know.
well, in my case, the issue I have, well, maybe it's just that I'm using the wrong AIs, but like, it just straight up forgets what I told it, and then it repeats itself over and over again. So,
Yeah.
it's giving you, at least in my case, it was always like possible solutions and then like a bullet point list of what I could do to research the problem further. Certain troubleshooting things that could help me investigate what's going on. And I do all those things, I give all the data, and then just like repeats itself, giving the same exact bullet points and same exact solutions. And I specify that solutions haven't worked, that here is more information, and then it just repeats itself over and over again. But
Yeah,
maybe I just
probably.
run into a really annoying issue. That could be it.
I bet you what, like, it depends on what model you're doing, but what's its context window? Like,
What are you using
that's why.
troubleshooting, actually?
Yeah, because different paid versions. For example, I'm using the most expensive Grok right now, which is Grok 4 Heavy, which has a context window of, I think, 512,000 tokens. And ChatGPT has a normal context window of like, I don't know, it's like 128,000, I think. But they cheat you, right? So most AIs nowadays, it's more expensive if you have a larger context window because it's essentially more RAM and more processing power. So they're going to analyze your question, the first question, and say, okay, which model am I going to use? Right? So there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes for them to lower their electricity bill. So that's where a lot of the tug and pull comes from getting AI to perform, I think. But if you can install some local models, which I have, there's a lot of cool new ones. Like OpenAI just released the OSS model, 20 billion parameters. I'm actually able to run it locally on my laptop and my desktop. And there's some that even have context windows as large as 512,000 tokens. Yeah, I use LM Studio to download them. And they give you a good overview of what they are. It's like a great interface if you're gonna download and play with local models. But the local models nowadays are just as good as like last year's models, the best ones. So
Got me tempted.
yeah, especially with context windows that you can control. Then it's just like, okay, I'll just pay for the electricity.
Huh.
But LM Studio is nice because if you search for a model, it will tell you this one can accept images. This one has a context window of this big. This one can fit entirely inside of your GPU. And it automatically, I think, installs all the dependencies to run the models on your GPU, which used to be like pulling teeth. You had to download all these stupid frameworks.
That is tempting. I'm wait, download that in the background. By the way, I like that I just pressed like help me diagnose the error and it didn't work. First time ever using the Copilot AI. Not successful, I would say. There we go. You just convinced me to get even more software.
Yeah. Great. Well, what I'm doing now is I have NAN you can install locally, which is like a graphic user interface for, like geometry nodes in Blender.
Yep.
It's geometry nodes for AIs and different widgets to have AI connect to everything.
I don't know what the definition of insanity is, but I am trying the same thing over and over and over, expecting shit to change. So
What are you trying?
I'm trying to connect via SSH. Host key verification failed. Ah, it's not great.
Oh, the first time you have to accept that key? Because it always doesn't recognize it the first time.
Not great. That's not great. How would I salvage this?
Turn off your firewall, and I'll boot up my Kali Linux. No, but yeah, what would be the way to do that? Because it's not a trusted site. Are you sure its IP address is correct?
Oh, the by zero.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it might. I think so.
Oh, is it using like its own internal DNS or something? I can't see; they're too small.
It's I mean, in this case, the IP address is 192.168.107. But actually, quick question: shouldn't IP addresses on my local network be dependent on the
Mac?
The Mac, yes.
Well, it depends. Your router can decide to assign it a new one.
Okay, then in that case,
Sometimes it can be finicky. What I usually do is I wouldn't show this on screen, but run Nmap on your network, and it will automatically ping each device and tell you what it is.
I know.
That will not.
I did do that once off stream, but on stream I have a different idea, which is the professional way to do it, and by that I mean, I guess.
Yeah, so, 1 through 254.
Yeah, but it starts low, right? So for example, 7, 9, and 11. This was my Pi 0, my Dev Pi 0, and my Raspberry Pi 5. I guess all of these, so it works. You know, the system works. The problem is,
you can also log into your router, and it will tell you what the DNS server is. But doesn't the Pi also have its own DNS address? Raspberry Pi DNS name. Yeah, it's raspberrypi.local. So that's its DNS name. So sometimes instead of guessing, you can just
Raspberry Pi
.local.
That would be smart.
Yeah.
But wait, if I have 2 Raspberry Pis on,
yeah,
flash?
it's gonna.
Whatever, I have only one on. It's fine. Raspberry Pi.local, you say?
Yep.
Linux. Ignore resolve hostname.
Yeah. So that's another kind of magicry, you know, because your router is 1.1, I'm assuming. So it's going to define that, which makes sense.
Choose your level. User, power user, or developer. Well, whilst I would like to say developer, because otherwise my ego is gonna be badly hurt.
MAC addresses are only randomized for iPhones when they have their privacy setting turned on.
Yeah, shouldn't MAC addresses be tied to hardware? I don't know much about networking, so this is painful to me.
MAC addresses should be burned into the hardware, and manufacturers should never issue the same two out. But there are some companies that don't adhere to that. So every network interface card should have its own MAC address. But there are some companies that recycle their MAC addresses. And iPhones have a tendency of randomizing their MAC addresses because it helps prevent man-in-the-middle attacks or whatever. And it really makes your router logs look horrible if one iPhone is on the network.
Warning! Remote host identification has changed. It is possible that someone is doing something nasty. Someone could be eavesdropping on you right now, man, in the middle attack. It is also possible that the host key has just been changed, the fingerprint first, and host. Yeah.
You want to hit yes. You want to accept that new one.
The
If you
issue is
don't,
that how do I accept it? Can I?
well, it should say yes. Enter yes at the bottom. Isn't it the console?
No, that's just the output. It's not the terminal. I could
Well,
just remove it.
Just go into a terminal and just literally SSH through the terminal to that IP address. And then it will ask you, do you want to accept this certificate? And hit yes.
Oh no, same exact thing. Host key verification failed and didn't even ask me. Can I just edit the config file directly?
So the problem is that you're going to have to add this key to your computer. I think it's a firewall setting that's blocking you from accessing that, right? So I forget the mechanism that's giving you that warning. And I think that mechanism is the Windows firewall. I think you can turn off your firewall, which you shouldn't do while you're free. But I'm just, I should know this. In SS, geez, I'm gonna ask Grok.
I can do this. Let's see. Let's see how smart make it truly is.
Yeah, so it's in your known host file. So what you need to do is
fixed
remove
it.
the old. Oh, you did?
Yep. It feels good to know how computers work. I don't know how networking works, but I know how computers work, and that helped me. It's so funny because whenever I deal
What
with
did you do?
SSH, change the config file. The reason why I wasn't
Oh.
getting the yes or no is because I already had it in the config file. I just had to remove it from the config file, make it empty, and then let the SSH figure it out for yourself.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
absolutely beautiful. It felt so magical. The way on stream I just turned off the code and then just started just maniacally clicking and then turned it back on and it works. It's witchcraft. It's called witchcraft. And the one issue is that right now this device is called Mask RP5, which it very much isn't. So now I'm gonna have two devices called the Mask RP5.
Well,
Damn it!
yeah.
I can. Wait, can I?
You
change
should
the
do
name?
what is that? Oh my goodness. Just change the host name, right?
Can I change the host name? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I think that's in bash RC. Is that bash? No, that was just your prompt. You can change in bash RC.
Host name. Host name. Okay, host name first of all. Oh wait, first of all, just let me see if I can actually type. Something is happening when I type it. Okay, there we go. Host name. Yup. All right, splendid. Hostname CTL. Okay. Sudo hostname CTL set hostname. Okay, that's simple. Sudo hostname. For some reason, it's taking ages to absolutely just type into it, and I don't know why. That's worrying. Hostname CTL set hostname Linux. Oh no wait. Mask
I think it's
RP0.
inside a file call in etc hostname.
It's yeah probably, but I still would rather change it using the Linux process just in case it also changes some of the metadata.
Yeah, good point.
Oh yeah, and etc host. Okay, etc host. Now I need to change it there too. Never mind. I really need to learn. I really need to learn networking because on streams when I deal with stuff like this, I need to turn off the screen every now and then because I don't know what I can or cannot leak.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that anything internal you don't worry about, but you just don't want to do like a trace route, because if you ran a trace route, it's gonna show the hops between. It's gonna give your public IP address, and I mean your internet service provider is gonna swap that out. But even as long as your router is decently kept up to date, I mean, you shouldn't have too much to worry about. But you just don't want your public IP address exposed. Everything else is internal. I mean, your MAC address is even fine. I mean,
I hope so. I mean, no, I know. I don't worry about leaking my Mac.
yeah, because you'd still have to get down to the layer in which you're
Somebody-
dealing with the MAC. So I mean,
Somebody get this guy new gambling shoes. What a reference.
so the only so if you displayed your MAC address somehow of your cell phone, if I was in proximity to you, and I knew your MAC address, I could know if you're in a certain proximity to me. That's it within Wi-Fi range, right? So that's the only dangerous thing with MAC addresses. So if you did the same with your laptop and I was some random person within half a mile, I would drive around until I scanned and found, your laptop trying to connect to a Wi-Fi, and I'd be able to locate you.
That's pretty cool. It's a shame that MAC addresses don't get spilled more often because that would make for some absolutely killer hacking scenes.
Yeah. I mean, there's a fun project I wanted to do where because you can see when everyone's phone, like when they're driving, as long as their Wi-Fi's on, they're constantly trying to see if the networks they usually connect to are connected. And it was funny, I was on a private investigation case where you can't turn on some of these hacking things from the routers, like Wi-Fi Pineapple, but you can do passive scans, so you can see what phones are trying to connect to, and you can kind of see, hey, this person was at a strip club because they have a strip club SSID in one of those things that it's trying to connect to, right? So you can actually pull some info. There's a guy that was sitting in prison for like 3 years in America because he like put one of these Wi-Fi routers on a stop light or something. It doesn't matter. It wasn't connected to anything. But as all the cars drove by, you can see all the different people in their traffic. You don't know what their names are, but you know the MAC addresses of their phone. So you can actually match patterns. So if you actually deployed like 50 devices around your city, you could get a really weird map of where people are traveling amongst those 50 locations, just with data that's passively transmitted every day.
Can't tell if that's cool or horrifying. Or both, actually. Well, I mean, I suppose both.
They call it war driving when you hack live. Somebody's in their car with a laptop hacking. But yeah, this information is literally all devices spew it out. So
This is making me want to research networking, and I mean, LibreText has an actually pretty extensive textbook on it. The next video might... damn it.
the 7-segment network is really cool. Now I think they reduced it down to 3, but there's 7 layers in like networking. And it makes sense that they broke it down because it's like a whole bunch of them are like the physical layer, and then you got like the transport layer, and then the application layer. So everything's like an onion. Everything's a Shrek reference.
I was about to say that. Okay, there we go. I have, in fact... So, we've made contact. That's good. I'm gonna keep this LibreText thing on the side because right now I have some
So
time.
now you do believe in aliens. Oh, a different type of contact. Got it.
I just installed Vim. That was the contact I was talking about. Now is the perfect time, actually, now I think about it, because I just made a fairly big video and I need to just wait until I can even start to work on other videos. So, I mean, this is perfect time for me to actually learn about some networking.
Yeah.
I'll try to make the next video about that we need mask RP0. Okay. There we go.
Yeah, the OSI model. I think if like that's literally networking in a nutshell is just the OSI model.
I really want.
And if you understand that, you literally are understanding all of networking, at least modern.
Open systems interconnection model. I mean, it makes sense. You know what? Just from the name alone, it makes sense. Understanding that would mean you understand everything you need to, because like, yeah, you need a standard for the internet to work. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
And it's logical, so it makes sense. Like, you know, there's 7 layers and they're broken into like different subparts. But
that could be my next video. After this stream, I'm just gonna take my laptop with me. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna sit down in a park and I'm gonna be just researching networking, which sounds actually way tamer than it actually is, because what you need to consider is that it's right now it's 3 in the morning. So like when I go out, it's gonna be very late, and it's just gonna be me in the dark with a laptop studying networking like a normal person would.
that's not creepy at all to a bystander.
Yeah, exactly. All right, if I go to
Literally hacking, because you should have a hoodie on and cover.
I absolutely do. And the mask, like the techno mask, the one I'm just making right now.
And everyone looks at your screen, it's just like, oh my god, they're a hacker.
I just really want this to work, because if I get this to work, I'll be able to yell like, "Fix it! Turn the lights on!" And we'll just turn the lights on, and that'll be brilliant.
You've messed with Wireshark, haven't you?
I have not. I know what it is.
Oh my god,
I have.
that's what you need to do. Literally, if you can sit somewhere, have Wireshark, run Wireshark, and capture your own computer's packets, and literally then research this stuff, because you're literally looking at the packets and they decode every packet for you. So you can look at the raw hexadecimal, I believe it is, or base 64. I think it's hexadecimal. And it literally will tell you what everything means. So it will decode it in like a very visual manner for you. You can expect every single packet.
That'll actually be such a.
It's beautiful.
That might be
like
really
Wireshark and the 7 layers of the OSI model is everything about networking. And what's cool with Wireshark, because it literally is recording every networked packet, right? So if you're watching a video, it's going to be a giant save file. But you just want to make sure. Oh.
Would be tempting. Would be really, really tempting. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. There we go, it worked! Hey, look at that. Mask RP0. Splendid. I like Linux. For some reason, it is running significantly slower, which worries me. And the LED is blinking. Terrible sign. Oh, Tefta just deafened. Well, to everyone else watching, the LED on the side of the Raspberry Pi Zero is actually blinking, which is a terrible sign. And that's because, you see, that LED isn't for when the Raspberry Pi is on or off. It is for file writing. Which means that if it's blinking, then the Raspberry Pi is doing something actively. It very much shouldn't. I just installed new software on you. That's a really terrible sign. Okay, off you go. On you go. Now behave. What will we want to do actually this time? Well, I suppose we could start with the audio amplifier, that would be the easiest. Then we can start, then we can do the microphone. Then we can do the USB gadgets. And if you all don't mind, I'm going to play myself some music. Left has guns, and I need something to fill in the dark void that is this live stream. When nobody soldier, that's a good one. Soldier 2. Maddening science playlist. I sweet. I'm trying to measure the space between. Control this caliper. Don't gasp for fear. No, it doesn't hurt. It only helps me measure how much skin you have on the topmost layer of fat. Make that incision to be nice and numb. And laughing gas can be so much fun. Please don't doubt my decision. This will be ooh, this will be ah, this will be absolutely we. This will be nice, this will be neat and bring you closer to me. So don't you fret, I'm not gonna hurt you. Just feel the need to be getting a little of you, a lot of bloodletting. I know the sensation you're probably dreading, but cutting you up will be so refreshing for me. Refreshing for me, yeah. Don't you cry, don't call Maria. She's my alibi. Oh, let me check it. Good. All right. And red is such a lovely color on you, but you won't be needing to go when you got no need. Let me think. Start. Okay, there we go. What we'll have right here is, first of all, we're gonna open the code. Oh, you're joshing me. Why are you still writing? Yep. The zero is still writing.
Your name is Josh. It's joshing you.
Oh, could not establish connection. Well, yeah, obviously couldn't establish the connection because the Raspberry Pi Zero is busy just fiddling around. I'm guessing that on the first time it sets up, it just needs a while to do something. I don't know. I do not know.
I had to take a phone call, so I had to step out.
Yeah, it's fine. I do believe that's... I really want to work... Damn it! I really want to work on the network video now. Videos.
Good.
I like...
Networking's awesome.
I want you to realize that you were gone for just a moment. Now let me take you over everything that happened in my head. In between that, as I was setting this up. I'm gonna make a video that will be 3 series, 3 episodes effectively. First one will be like the computer science requirements in order to understand networking. Second will be like all the basic stuff of networking, masks and such, and IPs and such. And the third one will be joining of a packet, which basically means packet from the starting point of where it's sent up to it coming back with the data you requested. And
yeah,
damn it!
You know, it's so cool because a lot of people that are in computer science and networking, that stuff would be very helpful. Like there was a class, I made my own chart to understand. And like literally everyone was asking me questions afterwards because they didn't understand it. And the teacher was like, I don't even understand this. We just memorize it. And then the students were like, no, but I want to understand this. And I'm like, outside of the college course, telling people like, yeah, I spent all night trying to figure this stupid thing out. And they were actually interested. But it's fascinating because we use it every day. So I think there's a lot, you would make it fun if you decided to do that.
I hope so, because that's what I'm going to do right now. Engineering, where's engineering? There it is. Engineering, there we go. And now...
Because you've already talked about the physical layer, which is layer 1. Like when you talk about communication protocols, everything happens like in microcontrollers on the physical layer, essentially. So you've made videos that dance around layer 1 already.
Yeah.
So it's a good segue.
In this case, hold on, let me first compare the two books. And I've already downloaded the model, by the way. I've downloaded GPT OSS 20B.
Yeah, yeah.
Funny enough, I may not have enough space for the models because right now, in fact, this is what my drives look like. The only one that has any free space is the one that's comically detachable. All of them are in full-blown red. That's because I am a file holder. After the live stream, I also need to clean up my files. Hold on. I want to test it. I don't know why I want to test it. I know it's gonna work, but for some reason I want to test it.
Yeah, you got to. It's a 20 billion parameter model as well, which is crazy. Which it has to be quantized because you'd have to have like 200 gigabytes of RAM.
If I'm going to use it for research purposes, I need to seriously try it. So let me just go with something not too easy, something specialized as well. How, given that quarks have charge, how is the electromagnetic interaction between quarks inside of a nucleon modeled according to quantum field theory? There we go. In the sound model, there's a recall charge and dark strong. Yeah, it's only described by extra photon. Yes, the Fulmer in mole goes to Gush terms, okay. You treat it as a small perturbation on top of a dominant strong interaction. That's not bad. That is not bad, yeah.
This is a local model.
That's incredible. Yeah. That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah. What's even crazier though is like if you get an NAN server on your local machine, you literally can set up AI to do a crap ton of research for you or automate some interesting problem solving stuff. So that's currently what I'm testing. So I have multiple models. I can use different models in a pipeline, connect them all together and have them work together toward a specific end. And connect to like Gmail or, some kind of cloud storage. And I can even connect all of their memory to a database that I could dump out later if I want.
Oh, I like that a lot. I like the fact that I can be your friend and I can just, whenever you research something, I can use that instantly. That's good. Here's what I'm gonna do right now. We're gonna do some research. We're gonna do competitive research. I'm gonna open up Obsidian. Oh my goodness! Oh yeah, on Obsidian, this is what I had last time I was doing it for the mask, so I have a cheat sheet of everything I need to do. I never remember how to open up a new vault.
Oh, it's the top left. It's the paper icon on the left bar at the very top. Oh, new whole. Yeah.
I remember there's like a vault icon. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I remember it was in an awkward place. Right here, create new vault. Yes, vault name, networking, browse location. On the brilliant, on the full drive that's already almost full.
So if you actually in Obsidian, you can turn on the REST API if you want to have AI talk to it. The easiest one that's like almost zero code is the Claude AI app. But if you look at the community plugins in Obsidian and look for REST API, it will give you everything you need. You can literally connect Claude to your Obsidian database and have it perform actions on it. That's a good old MCP server.
I don't have to say, I like that idea. We're just setting.
It's badass, yeah. That's why.
It's kind of awesome.
No, it's community plugins. If you go to settings, community plugins.
Wait, Claude, can I do it with my local AI? Can I like set up the?
You can. The thing is that there's an extra step if you do it with anything other than Claude. Claude also runs local. You can have it run local as well, but you also have to spool up an MCP server. And I'm pretty sure Olama might do that. I'm not sure, but the easiest for you is I'd recommend Claude. Literally, just download the Claude application.
Uh,
I know, it's something separate,
uh,
but because you would probably let me see real quick if Olama does. Because do you have Olama installed?
I genuinely don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have much of a.
Yeah, you have to use a MCP host. So the easiest way is just Claude. Claude has it built in that it has automatic MCP servers. The other tools don't. When I find an easier way, I'll let you know. But I'm going to be automating a lot of stuff inside of Obsidian, so.
You know what? I'm gonna just leave that for later. For now. For now, I have.
Yeah,
I have
sorry.
a local. No. Don't apologize. That's a godsend. Honestly, the tools. It's extremely useful. For now, I just need to. I need to not get also too much into it. Not as in too much into it, only as in too much into setting up the tools, because I have a history of spending 90% of the time setting up the tools, then 7% of the time actually using them, and 3% of the time just forgetting about them and moving on. So I need to I need to be careful.
Yeah. That LM Studio is enough, though, because now you have access to probably more powerful AIs just at the cost of electricity.
For now, because... Okay.
In some of those LM Studio models, when you search for them, they'll have little icons. One of them is reasoning. That's the little brain. One of them is an eye. That means you can also put images into them, and they can analyze the images.
That's so convenient.
Yeah. So literally, it's a lot of functionality on a local machine. It's so weird.
It is. It feels weird to be running a local AI because, I mean, it's
And that-
just.
Yeah.
Not to go on. I was just getting baffled.
5-6 months ago, I could barely run 4 billion parameter models on my PC, and then running a 20 billion parameter one is insane. And it's quantized, of course, but
Even then,
OpenAI.
proper answer.
Yeah, exactly. So it's essentially almost the equivalent of ChatGPT 4.0. Like, I don't know. I should look up. I'm just talking out of my behind right now. Is OSS 20B versus ChatGPT 4.0. It has similar intelligence to GPT 4.0. Yeah.
They can support wide never growing range applications. These are pretty much to go with. Once you answer requirements, fortunately, you will not be building the first network. Others more than pretty dangerous. Will you still have experience generating? Yeah, okay. This is so long overdue. Considering how my entire background is computer science, it is wild that I reached organic chemistry and particle physics quicker than networking. How did that even happen?
That's a good question.
That's a really good question. I have, for goodness sake, I have my own server I can test this with. Any knowledge I have here, I can just test with my own local with raspberries and non-local with a server. This is such a perfect thing. Why haven't I... whatever. No point reminiscing about the past. It's... Look towards the future. Was good too, and was designed. I'm so sorry, by the way, that I'm just sending because you don't join on streams all that often, and now you joined in, I'm just instantly got sidetracked with this. I really am sorry, but I'm excited for it. I am. I don't want to
That's awesome.
retract too much of the ground, however, still. So actually, because I have made computer science videos already, I don't need to give much of a refresher. The first one could actually be just growing a simple network. So starting with just computer to a computer, then multiple ones, then not the switch, only the other one. What was the dumber switch called?
The what switch?
The dumb version of a switch, of the switch.
Like a network switch?
Yeah.
Just a switch. The switches can be dumb or they can also be smart.
Wait, is there?
But most of them are dumb.
Is there no where basically like switch sends between two devices, whilst the other one just emitted onto the whole network?
Yeah, because old-timey switches, I guess you would call them repeaters. So a signal would get sent in one end and repeat everywhere. But now switches have a little bit of memory, and they kind of know what Ethernet is plugged into which. So they'll send it to the right area. But there's a name for switches that are, oh my goodness, this shows my stupidity, that are smart switches, where you can actually manage quite a bit more. But before those, that you would just call them repeaters, I think.
It might be repeaters. It's just bugging my brain because I get easily distracted, don't I?
Because that's what we're talking about, like duplex or half duplex, like for the signals. So it's interesting is that switches operate. Oh my goodness, on the OSI model. Because it's not technically, it's the physical layer and it's layer 2. It's the data link layer. So switches operate on layer 2. Now there are layer 3 switches, but you don't really want to mess with those. Those are like what you'd find in a corporate headquarters. But for the most part, switches are on layer 2, the data link. So they're mostly dealing just with MAC addresses.
Okay. URL. I hate this part of research where I don't know enough about the topic to figure out how to bite it. And like the saying I have where the best time to ask the question is when you already know the answer. Like that is true, but in this case I just lack so much knowledge that I don't even know where to begin. I'm just gonna make like a whole bunch of pages. I'm gonna link them together, like Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the Charlie scene with all the things on the wall.
Yeah,
connections. Yeah, basically that URL. Simple.
So if I can try to describe, like, the first 3 layers kind of make sense, and everything past that is pretty much like code. But the first thing you have is pulse width modulation, the physical layer, the literal copper, and the signals. Right? It can also be fiber. It doesn't matter. It's just literally the physical manipulation of electromagnetism in some fashion is the physical layer. That's layer 1.
Each one just builds on top of it. So I always imagine that like a box in a box in a box in a box in a box.
Exactly right. So everything has to have some physical medium to translate the information, and that's the physical layer. Whether it's copper or fiber, doesn't matter. Then layer 2, that's when you start to get to, it's like the MAC address. It's the data link layer. So now the physical information has to go somewhere. And routers are a little bit higher of a level, but switches are pretty much mostly thought of as layer 2. So a MAC address is here, and this packet is going for that MAC address. Right, it's gonna route it this way. It only really cares about linking data from the correct source. Then the network layer is like the TCP/IP, so mostly the IP layer. So what is the address of everything? And this is a router is usually connected to switches, but so when a packet gets to a router, it's looking to send it to a certain spot, and then it will send it to it using IP addresses. But it might hit a switch before it gets to the device. Then it will turn into like the data link layer, and then it turns into physical. But those are the three. So the IP address is layer 3, the MAC address is layer 2, and then the physical ones and zeros is the layer 1. Everything outside of that is digital encapsulation.
So far makes sense. But to be fair, that's the 3 out of 7 still. And I may be aiming high, but I still will hope to go for the 7.
Well, yeah, so then the transport layer, so then you have different types of connections and you have packets. The packets can be broken up into certain sizes, and there's different types, right? The 2 different types of packets that you have are TCP and UDP. There's other ones as well, but you have certain types of protocols for packets, and they're being transported. So, for example, ICMP, like whenever you do a ping or something to something, it's a certain type of packet. A ping packet is meant to like troubleshoot routers and stuff. Hey, are you there? It sends a ping and back. It's a certain type of packet. But the 2 big ones is TCP or UDP. So TCP is like a handshake, an interaction, where it's like, I'm going to try to connect with you, you're going to try to connect back, and then a whole bunch of handshakes go back and forth to make sure both computers know they're talking to one another. So anything that deals with like passwords or whatever, it's going to be some kind of TCP handshake back and forth, as opposed to UDP packets where it's just, I'm sending information and I hope the computer gets it, right? And that's usually used for transmission of media, videos, audio, things that you don't care about.
Where
it's not going to be
a small
encrypted.
Portion of it gets lost, then it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean there can be encryption on it, but it's mostly that. So that's segmented there. Then everything else is more complicated, and I more think of that as programming than I do networking. They exist, but there's hundreds of thousands of different things that get transmitted over a network. So once you get past the explanation I gave you, you're getting into the nuance of certain protocols and how those protocols operate, and they'll need to do certain things. And that's when you need to kind of understand encryption and how that's used, because you need to protect information inside of it. So that's the reason why you would set something up in some fashion, because you need to protect the information. But you need enough exposed so it knows where it's going.
Okay, here's my idea. I'm going to, well, I already have. I've made myself a little GitHub. Well, back of everything. Still working on site networking. Clone. There we go. What I'm going to do is this is really good for me, and I genuinely cannot stress enough how long ago I should have learned this, because for goodness sake, I deal with technology and I stream. For the sake of safety, I should know what I can or cannot share.
Yeah.
You know what?
I mean, the only thing you don't want to share is a trace route or a path ping.
Still, what if I mean, with my abilities, I would be able to somehow. I mean, I get what you mean. Yeah, everything happening locally is fine, because in order for anything that happens locally to be dangerous, someone would have to be on my local network. And if someone's on my local network, then I have other problems.
Yes. And your public IP address, like, even if your router is completely fine, I could do a denial of service attack on that IP address every time you're streaming if I knew it. Or dynamic,
Yeah, or for
DDoS
example,
attack.
I thought about maybe setting up some kind of SSH or something of the sorts for my PC so that when I am away, I can still send animations to render. And in that case,
Yeah.
that could be a pickle.
And this is where networking comes in handy. So like almost all ports in networking, because you have the IP address and then you have the port. So if you ever do, this is a good one to type in your command line that you could actually show, is netstat in CMD. And it shows you what programs are actually connected to what ports. If you just type in netstat.
Why do I have, hold on, I trust you, I can show it. But why do I have
Yeah.
Kubernetes?
I don't know.
Huh. That's
But
curious.
so it's gonna show the connections that you have, and all those weird IP addresses. They're probably like Microsoft services or whatever. It's not going to display. It's going to display your local address and what ports are open. But you're going to notice something. All of those ports are greater than 1,000.
Yes.
So in networking, you want to memorize pretty much every port below 1,000 because they usually are pretty intrusive and you don't want them to be open on your router. For example, was it 3389? There's a couple of other. There's some that are higher, but
8080, 443.
yeah. So those
correctly.
are the HTTPS, right? So that's the ports for HTTPS. And then you got some SMT ports. Sorry, you have some for like email protocols. But anyways, SSH is usually a certain port number. But these are all the active connections on your computer right now. And they all have a certain port associated with them. And the reason why routers kind of protect you is that anything that's a lower port that could get like SSH access is not going to connect. So you'd have to add like a function in the router to pass through some higher port to a lower internal port in order for someone to be able to, connect to SSH locally. But by default, your router is going to block that because it's not going to allow any malicious traffic. But
Is
every
that
time that you
port
talk to a
forwarding?
website,
Is that port forwarding?
port forwarding, exactly.
Oh my goodness.
So you don't want to expose an intern. Like for example, all printers usually have port 80 open. They have web servers on them that you can just talk to. You don't want port 80 of your local printer to be exposed online, right? But you do want a website to be able to send you information inside of your network, right? Like a picture from a website. So how does your computer differentiate it? Well, usually it's going to open up some kind of port. It's going to be higher than 1,000. It's going to establish a connection and send it to you. And it's safe to download. But yeah, so it's very fascinating once you start to get into layer 3 and beyond, because it kind of explodes in complexity because there's different protocols we use, like remote desktop protocol, IMAP, POP, SMTP. Those are protocols for sending emails. There's a ton of them.
You know what? I think I'm gonna go, unfortunately. I'm really sorry that I'm
No,
going,
sorry.
but no, I am, because you don't join often. I'm always upset when I need to leave when when you're here. I do appreciate you joining. You just got me. I started this stream by saying that I'm starting this stream because we need to figure out what I'm gonna do the next video on, and you just gave me the idea. So that is
awesome.
That is what I'm going to do. I'm gonna just research networking right now. That's splendid. About time. Thank you so much for joining, Tefta. I would say bye, but no one is watching. No one has been watching for quite a while. I understand, quite technical, and for now, I suppose that'll be it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.